I see.
Really, you can see how he was, because all the stuff that he put in there is based off of real entities. Like, for example, one of the mercenaries that was supposed to track down Han Solo was a lizard man. His foot's claws were sticking over the rim as Darth Vader walked by. The stormtroopers. Yeah, the stormtroopers, they had the white outfits and the black eyes. That's the depiction of the gray alien, or the tall white alien. So, you see like the lightsabers of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. The original two lightsabers were red and blue. They don't call Australia the land down under for nothing. Well, the red and blue are the two consolidated regional titles of the Red Lodge and the Blue Lodge of Freemasonry. So the Red and Blue Lodge clashing together is relative to the Red and Blue Lodge. Oh yeah, that's why the Queen, the Lizard Queen, had the prisoners of Australia sent to Australia. The same reason that they wanted people to hurry up and go over to California for the gold rush is because there is a huge colony. One of the largest missile satellite defense systems in the world is the Pine Gap base, and it is in Australia. And there was a video caught on satellite of a projectile firing from the planet at this object, in the atmosphere. And the coordinates of this projectile launching from the Earth matched the coordinates of Pine Gap, the largest satellite missile defense system in the entire world. There are tons of reptilians under Australia. The reason that they wanted the whites to go there is because the whites were more susceptible to their tricks and bullshit and energetical manipulation, because they had kind of been used to being under society's, burden. They had started to be susceptible to that type of energy, whereas the Aborigines, the Native Americans, they were more resilient against the reptilians' manipulation. So they weren't, they wanted something a little bit more valuable, I suppose. No, but what I can tell you is, how they named Alice from Alice in Wonderland? You know how she goes down into the hole chasing the white rabbit? Well, there's a place in Australia called Alice Springs, and it just so happens to be one of the largest concentration of, it's either crocodiles or alligators, I forget which. And the Aborigines know about the secret entrance underground, but part of the reason the Aborigines don't tell the people is because of the way they get treated. So they actually, just like the Native Americans, they have secret information about the underworld. They know about the caves and stuff that go deep into the earth. And they're charged, with keeping the mouth shut. They get huge goodies and stuff for doing that. And, just like the Native Americans, Red Elk, a Native American, talked about this. This guy's like 50, 60 years old, and he is very earnest, and I think a believable character who is epitomizing the secrets that the Native Americans have about this underground world, literally a physical underground world. And anyways, Alice Springs probably has entrances into the deep earth. I wouldn't be surprised. And it's funny too. Now that we're talking about, now that we're talking about Australia, Steve Irwin, how he was killed, right? Well, in 1977, the book by Hunter Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which they made a movie about. They had a guy that got hit by a stingray. Okay. And a lot of people say, Steve Irwin could have learned a lot from this movie or book or whatever. And what's even what I found was interesting is I was talking to a guy that used to he was a part owner of a car dealership for years, and we had a conversation about this. And he said, what's interesting about that? And I said, what? He said, shortly before they decommissioned the Stingray, before they stopped making them, he said they changed the name of the Stingray automobile from one word to two words. And he said, now why would they do that? So they changed the name of it, and it's like I was saying about the parallels between dimensions. You take an actual event and you can affect change in other ways, not directly attached to it. It's some kind of interdimensional transitional parallel object to personified resonance system, where they're able to influence time with examples. It's kind of like the voodoo doll. The voodoo doll is perfect of what I'm trying to explain. You take a voodoo doll, which is a physical representation of someone, you affect a change on that voodoo doll, and then that someone is affected by that representation. Now, I am not saying that voodoo dolls work. I'm just saying that that's an example of the kind of mechanics I'm talking about here. So, and then someone told me that they were taking a look at a book. They said, they advised me, which I don't like to read. I'll be honest with you, I'm very impatient. I'll read like half a book and then get pissed off and not want to finish it. But the thing is that so, okay, I mean, I'm glad some people can understand. Oh, because a lot can't for some reason. But they told me, they said, you should check out the book. And I said, why? And they said, because I'm pretty sure that the guy that got hit by the stingray in the book was named Steve.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, man. Good night, Sergeant.
I want to hear the story about that.
I have a comment on that. I have a comment on Europe. It actually has to do with the movie Rain of Fire. Because you remember I was telling you about the theory about the Olympics? Well, I had forgotten about the setting of the Rain of Fire movie. In the beginning of the Rain of Fire movie, there's this young boy that's walking in London. He walks past a map of London. He goes to a construction company where his mom's at, right? Because his mom's a construction worker. And as he's walking through the area where they're building this building, there's this like miniature coliseum that has some material stacked up on top of it, almost disguising what it is. And I look at that as a depiction or a metaphorical representation of the basic fundamental coliseum design of the Olympics. And the fact that the 2012 Olympics is taking place in London, and the Rain of Fire movie had the dragons that came up from the underground at that construction site, I think that the movie Rain of Fire was literally confirming my suspicions about this invasion. And I had forgotten about that movie when I developed my theory. I had forgotten about it. And then I had this inkling to just read, because I was downloading movies and I was like, okay, I need to get this one because this one's pretty good. I got to pull the time save. Sure enough, I got it. I saw the beginning of it. I was reminded about that particular event. So that wasn't, it's not like I based it off Rain of Fire. I based my theory off of a connection of different things. And then I saw the movie, forgetting the setting, Pan, it reminded me of it. I'm like, holy moly. And that's when I went and told everybody. Because I actually knew
Wasn't the movie influencing what you think,
I forgot about it. I didn't consciously remember the setting. I totally forgot about the movie when I was developing the theory. I forgot the movie even existed.
Okay.
And then I had this desire to just get it, like I almost had like a voice in my mind saying, download the movie, and then when I did, I was reminded, and I was like, wow, so I developed this theory and forgot about this movie, but then this movie already had asserted this stuff, so they already knew it, but then I found out about it and didn't remind, it was amazing for, if
So the movie was like a confirmation of what you're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I'd already seen it, I forgot. So it wasn't the same. I mean, I might as well have never seen it, because I forgot.
I see.
Hey, Raptor, what about Canada? Any visions about Canada?
No visions about Canada. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'll be right back in a second.
Canada?